Okay, everybody, welcome to the Javier Mendez podcast. We are back. It's been a little bit busy week, so we had to get on schedule. Had a bunch of fan questions we were trying to get to earlier, but some things came up, so here we are. And a lot of stuff's going on in the UFC. The great discovery of Yas Island. It's been revealed, I think. Have you been to Yas Island before, Jav? You've been to Abu Dhabi.
Well,
Dubai.
where the last fight was at was pretty much Yas Island, so it's really connected right next to each other. So it doesn't even feel like an island. It's just
Mhm.
part of Abu Dhabi, really. To be honest with you, it's right
Yeah.
next to the Ferrari racetrack, and the fights that Khabib fought last time was real right there, same
Mhm.
area. Not in the Yas Island, but it was right by it.
Did you get a chance to check out that Ferrari track? I know they held fights there a long time ago, even before Khabib. And I remember them panning down, and I saw that big tower, and it looked really cool.
No, it's really cool, but it's just too damn hot. I didn't want to go. It's too hot.
So whoever's fighting there better start training in a sauna, turn up the temperature.
That ain't no joke, man. That place is so hot during that time. It's gonna be so hot.
Well, you were there for Poirier fight with Khabib,
Same
and
time, September.
so was it
Around the
cool?
same
You
time.
mentioned this before, like it was cold walking in, and then all of a sudden, like the heat, you're stifled, like by the time you get to the arena, or did they have magic air conditioners?
No. We were in the tent, the air conditioning. As soon as we stepped out, the heat hit you all the way through. It was hot all the way through inside, but it was nice inside because you already heated up, so you didn't have to worry about your basically your fighter not being warmed up. He was gonna be warmed up just walking into the damn place. So that was never an issue because it was really, really hot.
Yeah, it's like hurry up, finish this. You don't want to go 5 rounds in this hell. That looks like a little
No,
rough.
no.
So, I mean, did you have any inklings that this was going to happen? Did you have any clues that they might be doing it there? We kind of guessed it that they'd be holding it over there. I didn't think like,
No,
oh,
because they said island, so I had zero idea. When you say island, I'm thinking, okay, somewhere far, far away, from shore, not right next to shore. I don't think it's like the Mississippi, uh, those gambling boats, right?
mhm.
You're thinking, okay, offshore, right? But they're right next to each other. It's like, they only leave a short little bit just to make sure they're within the guidelines of, to make it a riverboat. But
Yeah.
they're not going anywhere. They don't go anywhere. They're just right there.
Well, I mean, geez. So that area, I saw a lot of clickbait like, oh, look, they're going to do Alcatraz. That sounded cool. It sounded like, wow, that's gladiatorial. But you've been to Alcatraz. It's not really set up to put a UFC fight.
I've
And
never been to Alcatraz, so I don't know. That may be pretty cool. I don't know.
to be honest, I've been by it many, many times, and I've observed it through my binoculars. But then I've seen
I've
enough
never
movies.
been there. I think it would be cool as hell if they do it the right way. Yeah, but I don't know. I've never been there, so I don't know what it looks like. I mean, this to me, this island is beautiful. It's beautiful, no doubt, real beautiful. So, you're gonna see some beautiful things for damn sure. But it's just my only issue is during that time it's just so hot. It's like coming down December time would be beautiful. That's the best time to come.
Yeah.
December, January, and man, that'd be like the greatest, right? But we're going into the hottest situation, so I don't know if I'm going to be there because I don't know any of my fighters that are fighting there yet.
Mhm.
But obviously, we might very well be there with Khabib at some point, but I don't know. I
I
haven't got
seen
any
I've seen
confirmation.
mentions. I mean, like it's clickbait sometimes. Is this real or is this fake, right? But something like it's probably going to be over there that Habib would be fighting on that island.
If
Um,
if Khabib fights somewhere around that during that time, yeah, but I don't know when he's fighting. I know. I mean, I hear
September.
from what I read, not from Habib's own mouth, because we don't talk about the fights.
Hmm.
Right now, it's always been about how your father doing. Is your father doing better? That's all I talk to him about. I don't discuss the fight, so I don't know when he's fighting. So when he's fighting, he'll be ready. But I don't discuss that with him, so I have no clue
Hmm.
when he's fighting. So if I'm gonna go on anything that's written, then I say it's September 19th. I have to guess Yas Island, but that means nothing because it's not confirmed. So.
Yeah, and the good news is I did read that his father was making some bit of a recovery. Have you heard anything on this? I heard he was doing better.
No,
So I'm
no.
updating you. I'm updating you.
What you're hearing is one thing. What I'm hearing is another.
Hmm.
It's his father's still the same, according to Khabib. It's no changes, but he did say that it's a long process. So the good news is he's still in the fight, and that's the good news. So God willing, he'll make it, and I'm going on the God willing he's going to make it.
Now, yesterday I saw you at the gym, and we were talking about a couple of people that aren't happy with their contracts: Jorge Masvidal, John Jones, Connor potentially retiring. Then I just read like 10 minutes before we did this, oh, he's back. He's probably going to fight on Fight Island, like it's a negotiation tactic. What do you think it is? You think, I was reading the structure that they can't really sustain the things that they do with leagues, because leagues like football leagues and stuff are different, even though, Dana says, oh, they're 1099, but the leagues they're having more events. They have a lot of tax breaks. They have a lot of contributions being fed into, let's say, a football league or a baseball league. They're given a lot of special things that let's say the UFC isn't subjected to. Do you know anything about that? So the way the money weighs out.
No, I don't know. I don't know how the money weighs out. I just know that from what I read, that these guys all signed brand new contracts. I don't know about Connor, but I know Jones and Masvidal did sign 7 or 8 fight contracts, and they wanted to renegotiate in between all this. And the sad thing is, when you sign a contract, good or bad, you sign the contract. But that's not where it ends a lot of the time, because a fighter has options, even though he signed the contract, and his options is to retire me then. And then the UFC has to look at the situation and go, well, okay, if this guy retires, what money does it cost us? If it costs them nothing, they'll let you retire. Well, goodbye, see you later. But if they look at the scenario there, and these guys' particular cases, it'd be to their benefit to work something out with them, because these guys are valuable. So guess what? Try to work it out, work it in the middle, what's acceptable for both sides. And I believe that's probably what they're doing. But, and it's been an ongoing thing, and it'll always be an ongoing thing in business negotiations. It's always going to be the promoter wants more, the fighter wants more, who deserves the most. Obviously the fighter deserves the most, but doesn't mean that he'll get the most. But, good for them when they go out there and try to get the most they can. But if the UFC decided to play hardball with them, they could just sit them out, and you're stuck. You have a contract, you can't go anywhere. So it's a good thing they don't look to do that, because they can. They can just snuff you out, and they snuff you out. And
well, it's trying to hold the equity in your company. I mean, I can't imagine what the picture would look like if John Jones says, well, I'm tired of this. I'm going to go fight bare knuckle boxing tomorrow for $18 million. Screw this. I'm going to go to Bellator and fight so-and-so, or I'm going to go to the ONE FC.
They can't do anything, and that's the thing.
No.
So it's one thing is if you can, then you got negotiating power. Now you're going to drive up the price, 5, 6, 7 times more than what you're making. You will do that, because there will be people that will risk that type of money and pay you, the lion's share. But you're in a situation where that shit ain't going to happen anytime soon. So they do what they do to try to get the best. Dana does a great job of maintaining what they need to do, and they're all doing their part. And it's not a matter of these guys not wanting to fight each other. It's just a matter of the finances. Am I being compensated enough? Do I feel good enough going into this being compensated? Like, if you really think that John Jones made an attempt to fight Ngannou and you think he's afraid of him, then you're not really a fight fan, because John Jones ain't afraid of nobody. Ain't nobody gonna scare that man. He'll fight anybody. But hey, it has to make financial sense. It's like, look, if I'm making, if you as a promoter, if you're making 70 cents off of my back, and I'm only making 10 cents, I'm like, hey, wait a minute. You wouldn't make that 70 cents if it wasn't me. You'd make less than 10.
Right.
So you better share up with some of that, and that's what happens here, and it's always going to continue to happen.
And that happened in the music industry for years, until people started getting the right contracts, and even in the movie business, like, oh yeah, they would just take the salary, and then a lot of movie stars said, I want a piece of the back end, and then that's what started happening towards, I guess, the mid-level, the middle of UFC. People started getting pay-per-view points. They didn't initially. It used to only be like Tito, I think, and then maybe Tito and Shamrock that one time. But up until then, not a lot of guys had it. We're talking way back, middle of the UFC.
When Frank Shamrock fought Tito, for the middleweight title. Frank didn't get points. He got a flat fee, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, it was dying. It was dying. It was one of the greatest fights in the history of the UFC. It was one of the greatest fights. That was an incredible fight. But I believe Frank just got a flat fee, and I believe
Yeah.
it was like maybe six figures.
Yeah.
I could be wrong on that. I could be definitely wrong on that, but it wasn't that much. It was not that much.
Now, over the weekend, we saw the fights. There's a couple that stood out to you. You like the walk-off knockouts, the walk-off KOs. You had,
Well, there was a few that stood out. The lightweight, the bantamweight division, not the bantamweight, the featherweight division just got woken up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like there's some great performances there and made it very interesting. You know, I loved Sean O'Malley's win. Basically, I also loved the
Cody
Cobra,
Garbrandt.
the one before that, the choke.
Mm-hmm.
What was his name?
It's hard to remember them all.
It was Cody. Cody's one punch knockout. That was incredible. I don't know which one was better, O'Malley's or Cody's. I think they were incredible. And then there was one more. It was the choke. I think
Trying to look.
it was Tim. Maybe it was Tim.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think it was Tim. It was.
See, at least we're honest. We didn't show it. We just go from the hip. You know what I mean?
No, I didn't do my research, but it was a really, really good,
Tim
strong
Means?
showing.
Was that Tim Means?
Oh no, LJ Sterling. What the hell?
Aljamain. There you go.
Yeah, dude.
Sorry, Aljamain. We apologize.
He did incredible. He was fun, and so he made it very interesting. So right off the bat, when he won, you could see it's like in the way he talks. He backs it up, and there ain't no title without me type of thing. And he's correct. He's correct. I mean, if you win a title fighting him, then you really are a legit champion. That's if you beat him. He's pretty damn good. He's very impressive. I was impressed with him. Him, I was probably the most impressed with over all the guys, but they're all impressive. O'Malley's very impressive, and Garbrandt's making an incredible comeback. That after 3 straight losses, to come back like that, man, and finish a guy that's almost unfinishable, pretty impressive. Pretty goddamn impressive.
You got Cynthia fighting this weekend on the UFC. Cynthia Padillo.
Yeah, Cynthia's fighting this week. And she's trained by my head jiu-jitsu coach, Ron Kessler. And they're out there getting her ready for, what is it, a number 1 contender spot or
something like that. She's fighting Jessica Ai. Jessica Ai, yeah.
It's a tough fight. It'll be a tough fight. No easy fight. We'll see what happens. I think Cynthia's got the edge in the grappling. I think Jessica's got the edge in the striking. Let's see what happens. Who plays what game, But I definitely see a potential great fight. It depends. Sometimes you think, oh man, this is going to be a barn burner of a fight. It turns out very tactical, very boring. So I don't know how this one is. This one could be anything.
I mean,
I think it's a competitive fight.
That's for sure. I think that, we're really looking forward to getting even half the fans in the stadium. Don't you think that element's missing? It's really been rough. It's harder for me to focus. I don't know. I like, unless the fight's really pulling me. Do you miss seeing the fans in the stadium on the shows?
As a spectator on TV?
Hearing the noise, hearing the rah, rah, rah. You don't care?
I don't care.
Well, you're a professional.
As a coach, being there personally, yes. Yes, I'd rather fight to the crowd 100% than to nobody. But as a fan on TV, I don't care. I'm focused on the octagon and the 2 combatants, and that's it. I don't really care about the fans as much. So, but as a coach, man, it's way better with fans. I'm definitely looking forward to that day happening again soon. But I'm definitely, I hope it's real soon because I miss that part. As a fan, no, but as a coach, yes, I miss it.
Me too. I miss the fight night parties, all the things we were doing before all this. Word is that California is easing up on letting some gyms open soon. Have you been given any updates where you can open AK to the public again? Or
we're told soon, but I don't know. Soon. It could be first of July. Who knows? Anything's possible. One thing's for damn sure. I think that every probably country except Sweden screwed up on this one and closing everything and closing the economy. Sweden's the only one that stayed open throughout this whole thing, and their economy didn't get hurt. And although, you know, it's like, hey, this is pandemic. I mean, we didn't know what was going to happen, and, you know, how much control or no control, how many deaths, you know, and you know, as far as you know, population wise, we have 362 million American in the U.S., right? And so less than 1% have been infected so far, because we're at 2 million.
2 million. We just
So
passed 2 million.
basically, so not even half a percent, not even half of a percent has been infected in the U.S. in the 4-month period. So, you know, and of course, you know, anytime these things happen that's new, that's killing people, it's a travesty. It just breaks my heart, you know. I've had friends who lost their fathers and the uncles and loved ones, and yeah, no, it sucks, you know, but it's something we have to deal with. It looks like ongoing for a little while longer, and hopefully they can find the vaccine, and then people can, you know, get relieved a little bit again, that it can function. And if you catch it, you're okay. But you know, but before that too, remember, common flu was killing people too.
Yeah, we just weren't making the news and locking people in their houses over it.
No. And it's because it wasn't as highly contagious as this one. And the thing is, they don't know everything about the COVID yet. They don't know the whole thing about it. They don't know. They're still learning, and so we're still learning, and we'll see, you know. And I mean, as of late, you know, the COVID got taken over by the riots.
Yeah,
from out there, because the riots were the one doing all the damage, and you know, the sad thing about the riots, such a great cause to go out and protest, and it had to be effed up by all those scumbags that are looting and robbing and burning, you know, businesses, and you know, and burning all. It didn't matter what kind of business or who owned it, or whether minority owned or not. It doesn't matter. It was burned. It was burned. You know, and to watch these things, to watch cops actually do the damage too, and then encourage other people on you know, basically doing damage to people's you know, businesses, like, you know, like they were one of them. I see a video. One where police officers were instructing the lady how to paint the thing on the person's wall. It's like, man, I go, you're supposed to be paid to stop that, not to encourage that, you know. And here they are doing that, and then burning their own cop cars. And then you got people mysteriously dropping pallets of bricks and beer. You're telling me they're not
beer sponsored by a beer company?
Yeah,
sponsored by a beer company. Wow.
Yeah, George Soros's group probably did all that. But anyways, we're not. Yeah. That's not our job to do on that.
We want to speak on it, but we know you're here to escape.
It is what it is. We couldn't do nothing about it. We know it's George Soros group. We know they're really bad. Trump's onto those guys, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, it is what it is. You know, I was sad, and it's still sad, you know, that people lose their lives. You know, poor old guy gets pushed a little too hard. The 75-year-old guy smashes his head. You know, and at the same time too, you know, I mean, you're 75 years old and you're walking into, you know, a swarm of police officers. How smart is that? Not too smart on your part. Like, you know, they don't know what to expect. They don't know what's going to happen. And some of them are idiots. And obviously they're big time idiots for responding the way they did, pushing an old man like that as hard as they did. They should be ashamed of themselves. And I hope they got fired.
It's a strange time, because we have some stuff's real, sometimes not real. There's a lot of spin, and it's like, for the average person, if you're not a big Facebook user, but Facebook users, Facebook, I swear to you, is designed to trigger hate and fear in people. So it depends who you are, whatever your fear is, or whatever your opposition is, or whoever you feel is trying to get you, all that will start popping up in your social media. And then you go look at your buddies, and his social media is all flowers and rainbows. You're like, oh, look, his choices, he only likes flowers. You know, it's like it's an algorithm. They seek out what you know. So imagine if everybody get to have their own newspaper hub. You and I picked up the San Jose Mercury. You picked it up and it says, watch out, bad guys are coming, they're going to get you. I pick it up, rainbows and sunshine, free ice cream, you know, on mine. And then another guy picks it up and he has a different story, you know, that's somewhere in the middle of those two, you know. bandits outside and ice cream half off. You're like, oh, okay. So 3 people have 3 different opinions. And it's a good divide and conquer tactic to keep people from communicating properly and getting to a point where everybody can get along better. So it spins. This spin, it's like that's the power of social media that newspapers could never do. They had to print one copy and try to put their edge in it, whatever they could, and they couldn't retract it because it was in print.
You know, the media stuff is like don't
Yeah,
always believe what you see, and
so
the
true.
narrative. They have their narratives and they have their objectives, and it's ridiculous. So I don't really care for the news to watch it. I mean,
Yeah,
YouTube gives you better news from fans that, or
right.
just people that in general report because they're reporting the truth. They're not spinning it. Whereas the news in general spins stuff. You know, you see things, but yet you actually see the actual event they're talking about, and you're going, they're reporting it way different than the way it actually was.
Mhm.
You know, but what are you going to do about it? I mean, you're not in a power position. I'm in no power position to make changes. So I just, for myself, I acknowledge it. I feel it.
Mhm.
I see it. I just don't believe it, and then I move on. But I can't get involved in trying to change something that I can't change.
Yeah, it's unsolvable puzzle in some certain things where if everybody has a skewed vision of things, it's hard to come together and say this is the truth. And then a new channel pops up. No, we're the truth, and it goes for forever and ever and ever.
It goes forever. It's just not worth getting involved.
Well, it was fun filming the clip. We got quite a few people looking at it, the history of AKA and where it all started from you. That was kind of fun. I thought of putting that out there. Going to be interviewing a guy that did you corner Paul Varlins for that fight? You were telling me at the end of the clip he was in the
The
ultimate or
ultimate, yeah, where Dan Severn won, yeah, him and myself and Brian Johnston and Todd Milan cornered. No, and Eric, the owner of Trap Fighting, Eric Kolowski or something like that was we cornered Paul. That was Eric was his coach.
okay. So he won the fight. I watched that one last night to
No,
reacquaint myself.
no,
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 he
no.
won one fight and he lost the second one to Tank, I think.
Uh,
He won Cal Worthington and then he lost to Tank.
oh yeah.
It was
Okay.
like it was Grand Prix style, but remember how
Okay,
he
yeah. I was thinking the chemo fight.
hmm
He got smashed by chemo, I think.
yeah.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think he won one. Was it? Are you sure it was Ultimate? I don't remember.
I think so. It was old archives, but it was interesting to see. I was looking back at the old UFC. Like one guy had little gloves, one guy had bare knuckles, elbows wherever way he wanted them. It was freestyle, man.
Well, it wasn't going nowhere with that freestyle because it
Yeah,
wasn't
they needed
regulated.
rules.
The Fertitas coming in and changing everything around. That was best thing could ever happen to a great sport.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's more like entertainment, but it's still great sport entertainment.
Well, I'm just saying on the podcast. That's something I want to like to film more of because people need to know where it came from. In the moment, they're all about what's hot right now. But in time, if you have enough of it, people want to see where did this come from? Where did it start? Before there was the UFC, everybody thought my sensei is better than your sensei. And, my boxing coach can beat your judo coach. And
Pretty much.
right.
Pretty much, yeah. Everybody thought theirs was better, yeah. Till the Gracies come in and beat everybody up and said, "You guys were all dreaming while we were actually fighting."
That was the gyms do that when you were in your
Yeah,
prime in the 80s,
yeah,
like
yeah,
come on, would guys walk
yeah,
in like I'm
yeah.
gonna show you what's up?
No, none of
No,
that shit. No, but people in their minds felt that, yeah, yeah.
right.
False pretenses, mostly martial arts gyms felt their master was the best master, toughest master, and but the guy never competed, he never did nothing. So it's just a bunch of bullshit.
Hmm.
Like I said, Gracie's come in and show people what real fighting's all about. And there you go. Rest is history. Now everybody knows what real fighting's all about.
The Gracies were taking any comers down at their gym and they were filming it.
And it was basically real unarmed combative type fighting, not with weapons and stuff.
You'd have a
Gracie's
bot.
system proved that it was effective and it could beat any singular style. And they were ahead of the game of just about anybody.
Yeah,
Now if you don't have Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, some knowledge of it, you're not beating it. Not if
yeah.
you're fighting a Jiu-Jitsu, that's black belt that's very proficient in it. You're not beating them. You're not.
Hmm.
They were ahead of the game, and you know what? They still will be. So if you want to be a champion, you're gonna have to have some type of top grappling from you. They have to have some Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. I really believe that.
You know, you're heavy on grappling at your gym. You said that in one of the speeches that I have on YouTube. It's like, if you're not a grappler, you probably shouldn't be here. You want them to be heavy, heavy. I mean, of course you want
I
them to
mean,
be.
well, the thing is, if you go to the ground and you can't get up, what good's your stand-up?
Right.
15-time world champion. Who cares? I mean, I had a lot of people in here. Jermaine, when before she started in the UFC, she was fighting here, sparring here, and I saw here she is, 10-time world kickboxing champion, badass, this and that. But
Jermaine ran to me.
yeah, there's a point there where she couldn't defend herself not well at all on the ground because she didn't have the experience.
Right.
So what good is her, years of stand-up against somebody that's brand new, that's even got maybe a year of wrestling at that particular time, Now it's different because she's a whole different ballgame now. But back then, when she first came over here, she wasn't that experienced on the ground.
Yeah.
So beating her wouldn't be that big of a deal. But try beating her in kickboxing. Try beating her in boxing. Yeah. Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Don't fight her fight. That's the thing. Okay, I'm gonna go to fan questions with you, Hav. Let's see. Well, this is Sahad Mistri. Tell Coach Khabib we love him. Pray that undefeated, undisputed. Okay, that's a statement. Oh, John Morston. How did Coach react when
John?
Hey, John Morston. How did Coach react when he saw Khabib jump over the cage at the end of the fight versus Conor?
I was shocked. I was like, oh my God, it's over. Oh, I can't believe this is going on. What the hell happened? Why the hell did I turn around and celebrate with fans instead of jumping in the cage?
You're like, yay! Oh.
Yeah, it was like exactly like that. I was like giving high fives and I didn't see any of the action. I jumped up on top. Police already surrounding the cage and they told me back off. So what am I going to do? I'm going to follow the rules of the police officer, back off. I'm not getting arrested for something that I can't control.
That was like a 180. You're like, yeah. Oh, yeah. That must have been confusing. Well, luckily the other teammates were there to help bring that down. The team captains, Luke
Rockhold and Daniel Cormier did an incredible job.
Yeah. Oh, and John, you're back with another question. Has Khabib or Islam ever done any military training?
Not that I know of. Possible, but not that I know of. I don't think so.
Maybe the military did some of their training.
Possible. Who knows?
Okay. Well, we talked about this earlier, but we'll recap. How's Khabib's father doing? Is his health? Can it affect Khabib's preparation for the next fight?
It could definitely affect it. His father's still in critical condition. Progress is same, but he's still in the fight. So, keep your prayers out there for him and, hopefully God will grant us more time with him.
Okay, John, another great one. Who do you think the hardest hitter in the UFC history is? Let's give it a top 3, maybe.
As far as hitter in what regard? What weight?
I don't know. I guess it's very general.
That's a very, very, how do you, shit. I don't know. Heavyweight Francis Ngannou appears to be the heaviest hitter I've ever seen.
I'd throw Rumble Johnson in there.
Rumble, I don't think he's at that level, though.
No?
I think that son of a gun has got the hardest hitting I've ever seen. But then a light heavyweight, probably Rumble, Rumble, top guys. I don't know. And then, Cody Garbrandt, and is he in the featherweight? Who knows? I don't know, man. That's a tough question. Because there's not one particular person, but I guess the only person that sticks to my mind really, because he's so fast, is Ngannou.
Yeah. At one time, the hardest hitter would have been Chuck Liddell in his era, and then it wasn't. And that's how it goes.
Yeah, so, it's hard to say. But right now, I would say I would give it to Ngannou. But
that guy's, those punches are crazy, Hav. How do you've been a boxer, kickboxer? From here to here, a knockout, like ding, like what is it? Like it's like a death touch. It's like a.
He just has natural power. The guy's incredibly gifted. He's a specimen and great speed. And when he decides to go, well, you saw what he did the last fight. He came out there. He was getting outstruck, and he just said, "Screw it." He threw all technique and I just and look what happened. Like he decided not to play the kickboxing game and just say, "Here I am, let's go."
He
Took the
gave him
guy
the
out.
kitchen sink. He threw the whole kitchen sink out there.
That not you don't see that. You don't see that. I don't see anybody doing that. I don't recall anybody being able to do that. Anybody.
You gotta love your power. If you don't have the power, that's a wasted
Well, that's
exercise.
why I say him, because
Right.
he's the only one. I never seen Rumble do that.
Yeah.
Rumble hits like a brick, but I never seen him do that.
Yeah.
Take. Oh, let's go. Here I am. Boom, knock you out.
Right.
Yeah, he's incredible power, man.
Yeah. That'd be fun to see those two face off. Let's see. Coach, who do you pick as Islam Makhachev's next opponent? Diego Fioria, Charles Oliveira, Alaquinta, or Kevin Lee still an option? That's from Sajad.
Anyone would be fine, but I guess I'd like Kevin Lee or Alaquinta.
Mm-hmm. Just because it complements the style, good show.
No, it's just they're good fights,
Yeah.
And Oliveira would be a great fight, but all four mentioned would be great fights. We'll see who it is, but all of them, but some of them won't fight him because they're too high ranked compared to him. So why would they fight someone so tough? They're not going to, unless UFC makes it worth their while.
Here's a good one. People going for the hard reporter questions. Sahad Mistri, what's your advice for Daniel Cormier's last fight with Stipe? What's your prediction?
Well, we talk about it all the time. I want Daniel to fight like great Daniel's supposed to fight, and I predict we're going to win the title. And my prediction is I hope he retires. And I say hope because, UFC has a way of throwing more money at you. So hopefully he does retire after he reclaims his belt, and that's it.
I love the fan question. Ultimate Team 7. Coach, tell Khabib we love him. Okay, there you go. Big, massive Robert Ward. If Khabib grappled Jordan Burroughs, would he tap him?
I have no idea because he never grappled Jordan Burroughs. So zero idea. In all likelihood, because Jordan is a wrestler, he's not a submission expert, probably, but I can't say 100% because they never grappled. I don't know.
Jordan's a stud.
Yeah, I mean, to say really without a doubt that Khabib would tap Jordan, that's kind of, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know because Jordan is going to go say, okay, well, let's see him submit me when I don't want to be submitted and I want to be away from him. That's kind of difficult. He's not going to engage. I've seen Daniel Cormier go with the best of the best here, the very best in the jiu-jitsu world, and they couldn't do nothing to him because Daniel didn't want to grapple.
Yeah.
If he grappled with him, but Daniel didn't want to grapple. They couldn't touch him. They could not touch him because Daniel did not want to grapple. But if Daniel wanted to grapple, then he'd be having to defend one submission after another, back and forth. But because he did not want to grapple, Kane, on the other hand, played the grappling game, and he was fighting submission after submission after submission.
Yeah.
So it just depends. They're different games. So, if Jordan decided to play the submission game, then he would be fighting them back and forth. He'd be fighting one after another.
Right.
Whether he gets caught or not, eventually I would think he would. But if Jordan doesn't want to play, hard to argue that point that he's going to play. He's such a great athlete. Great athletes, you can't.
Yeah.
There's exceptions. There's reasons why UFC takes those guys right off the bat without much MMA experience.
Yeah. It's an evolution. John Morrison will be long before Islam is fighting top 10.
I think Islam within one fight or next fight.
That sounds good. Thoughts on Tony saying Khabib's never been in a street fight?
Come to Dagestan.
Road fight, farm fight, maybe not on the street, maybe the
horse
basketball
fight.
court.
No, street fights. Dude, just come to Dagestan, then you change your opinion. It's like, there's been so many damn street fights. Nah.
Like
they over there fight for honor. They don't fight for stupid stuff, but they do fight.
Yeah.
They fight. You disrespect someone, you do this, you do that. But they also make sure it's they don't fight elderly people whatsoever. Has to be within the same age. So let's say somebody does something wrong and he's an older gentleman, and Khabib rather than beat up on him, he may beat up on someone more his age, you know. And but he will not attack an older gentleman, because if he did, his father will whoop the hell out of him for disrespecting an older. Their elders are very important over there. They respect, you know, authority and older. You know, that's just the way it is.
It's nice. Let's see. What are your thoughts on Jorge wanting out of the UFC?
I don't think he wants out of the UFC. I think he wants more money, and rightfully so. If he can generate it, then, you know, go get it. I mean, his last fight was pretty good, dude. He did an incredible fight with Diaz. So he's entertaining. He knows a lot of people love him, and a lot of people support him. So I don't think he wants out of the UFC. I just think he wants to be treated fairly, and he wants more money. So he's doing – the bad part is he signed the contract. The good part is, if he's willing to sit it out, the UFC is probably willing to give him a little bit more to get him back into action. So that's probably the case.
Yeah.
So don't be surprised if you see him back in the fight game, making more money than originally, because that's what happens in the negotiation, good or bad. Hey, you signed the 8-fight deal. You should honor it. Fuck you. I want more money.
Marcus Flavor, please, coach, tell us how Khabib can deal with Justin's leg kicks, because they are just effective on every opponent.
We'll see what happens, but has Khabib not fought any leg kickers in all the fights he's had? Has he not
didn't he?
with any leg kickers? I mean, I think we've been there before.
Yeah.
You know, so we'll see. You know, it's just a matter of who can implement whose will. Can Justin prevent Khabib from imposing his will on him? You know, it's like, you know, it's like what everybody was supposed to have something for him. Tony, everybody, he's never this, never that, but yet he goes out there and does that. Conor was supposed to destroy him on the feet. Well, what happened when Khabib decided to stand with him and purposely just stand? Khabib barely lost that round, and questionable on whether he did or didn't. I thought he did lose that round, but it was so damn close. Well, how is a guy that's supposed to be horrible and stand up with one of the greatest strikers of all time?
Yeah.
Give me a break. You know, Khabib's a lot better than you give credit. So don't act like a great striker is just going to come in and smash him, because it hasn't happened and it won't happen. And Justin is a great striker, yes, but not a great striker in the striking terms. Not as a striker only. He's good. Yeah. He's good. Great. Not great, but he's good. He's good. But Khabib's been in sparring in this gym here with guys that are better strikers. Okay, he had no problem with them. So whatever happens in the game, I don't know. One leg kick can change everything. One punch can change anything. So one takedown can change anything. So we'll see what happens. We know one thing: Justin deserves this opportunity, and hey, you know, I don't think anybody deserves to go before him, and he will go out there, and he's a great fighter, man. Great fighter. Oh, yeah. He's entertaining. I'll tell you one thing: is this fight won't fail to be entertaining.
Well, this one's a long question. I'm gonna cut to the shorter one so we can keep moving at a clip here. Let's see. What are your thoughts on UFC compensation? Will Dana ever increase UFC fighter pay to share percentage ratio? Prayers from JD Salazar.
Well, the UFC is out to protect the UFC's best interest, and if there's enough pull from fighters and other organizations coming in, you'll see changes. But if there's not enough pull from fighters and other organizations that are paying the fighters good money, no, you're not going to see much at all. You know, but you will see changes, all because, number one, it has to come from the fighters and organizations, other organizations. And on the only way things could change is if government comes in and implements the Muhammad Ali Act, which that could happen, but I don't know when. That could be, who knows? Who knows? That's always in the works. It's been in the works forever. I don't know any of the details. I just know that they've been trying to get this approved for years, and so we could be talking like this 4 or 5 years from now. We could be talking about, or next year it could change. Muhammad Ali enacted, boom, boom. Now everybody has to vote for this fight. You know, the highest bidder gets it.
This brings up an interesting point, something I just thought of while you were talking. Before the beginning of fighting, social media didn't exist as much, not in your era at all, right? And then the early UFCs, it didn't exist halfway through the UFC. Then social media came about. It's given power to athletes and fighters like never before, because you used to have to be on television to be a voice or a personality in, let's say, football or baseball or fighting. So now you can have a daily vlog, you can have a podcast, you can have your opinion, you can be interviewed by 100 people at will because people want you on their content, you know?
Yeah. Well, social media's giving these guys power beyond power. You know,
Right?
the most powerful ones is definitely Connor and Khabib. And why do I say that? Well, look at their Instagram following. Was it 30 million something for Connor, 20 something mil
38
for
million or
Khabib?
more. And
Is it
20, 20,
38?
20 million for Habib. That's bigger than a lot of television stations reach. If the UFC sells a million pay-per-views, but if Habib says something, he gets 8 million views on his Instagram. You see what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
changed. That's what's changed. That's what's changed the promoters. It's helped push the sport too. It's helped
Oh,
people sell the event too.
well, the fighters themselves make money off of that. I make money off of my social media, you know,
Right.
and social media has enabled us to be able to make a living doing that. So if you get enough followers, then you can transcend that to big dollars. Habib and Connor are definitely the leaders in that, but you know, got other guys coming up behind. You know, I don't know who the third most MMA fighter is. I don't know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
Probably Dana White. I don't know.
Yeah, he
You know,
might. Yeah, he it might be Dana White.
it might be. It might be.
Yeah,
I mean, I know John Jones is probably up there, right next to Dana, if not above Dana, and you know, DC is probably 2.4 mil, and you know, a lot of those other guys are in that range, but I don't think that there's nobody even comes close to 10 mil. I mean, probably Nate Diaz might be pretty much up there. He's pretty popular.
I
You know, I
could
haven't
take a
looked at
look.
Nate, but Nate Diaz probably up to 4 or 5 mil, maybe six.
Yeah, let's see what Nate Diaz is up to.
He's got to be up there pretty high. He
But
might be the third
but
guy.
doesn't that make that interesting? Because now they essentially 4.4 million. Right,
4.4 million. So Nate Diaz is top five.
right. 4.4 and 1.3 for his brother. I mean, these guys are up there, man. They're popping.
Yeah.
And it's interesting though, because that's like, oh, we know your market value. We're looking at your Instagram. We know how this pay-per-view will sell. And
Nate
it's,
Diaz is a needle mover.
he is. He brings an exciting fight.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah. His fights are always good.
yeah, he's
I've never not enjoyed a Nate Diaz fight. Always enjoyed a Nate Diaz fight,
oh for sure.
even when he beat us up. he's still, he's still, you know, when he fought Greg Maynard, I was like, that's
Yeah.
actually pretty good. I was going, that's actually pretty good. I felt bad for my guy. My heart hurt for him, but I couldn't take the fact that Nate get a great performance.
Okay, let's see. How do you think Habib would do at welterweight? Could he be a welterweight champion?
Khabib would do fantastic. Yes, he can be a welterweight champion, but he has to want to do it. I don't think he does. I think in his heart he believes he's a one lightweight, and that's it. He's never talked about going up in weight. Who knows? Things will change. Tomorrow is a new day. Tomorrow may bring a new answer from him, but right now I think the answer is I still have unfinished business in the lightweight division. So that's it.
Well, oh, Usman versus Habib. How do you see that going? That's an interesting one.
That's a great fight.
Yeah.
That's a great fight. Of course, I can never vote against my guy, but that's a great fight.
Yeah, it is. Let's see. Hello, Coach. Do you think? Okay, that's not the one. Coach, what are your thoughts on DC versus Stipe finally happening? How do you feel the training's going? Love your videos. Thanks.
Training's going great. He's training in his garage. I have not joined him yet. He usually brings me 8 weeks out, so I'll be coming to his house to train him. Probably next week or the week after. But he's sparring already. Showed me videos of sparring. He looks really good. He's very highly motivated. We're gonna see another great fight, guys. It's a heavyweight trilogy fight, and it's gonna be legit. Someone's getting taken out again. If
Hmm.
not, someone's getting beat up pretty bad, or both of these guys are gonna get beat up pretty bad with the winner. Hopefully, DC. You know, but this is no easy fight. The best of the best are fighting again.
Wow. This is something you and I talked about. Any thoughts on the smaller cage versus the normal size cage? Can it affect fights from Jared Weaver?
I definitely think it can affect fights. I personally don't really know of anybody that thinks that complains about it. It's not like boxing. 20 foot versus 16 foot type thing. So I don't. Yeah. No one's ever really made a complaint about because they're so big to begin with.
Yeah.
So I say I don't think it impacts very much.
No, you're going to close up anyways. Who is your coach? Who is your best student until now? Food is good. You've had thousands.
If he's talking about fighter, ever now? What's he talking?
Until now, I guess your best student until now.
Man, there's so many ways of putting it, but if you had to put on loyalty, stability, and foundation and everything, and just working with me type thing, it's Khabib.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about abilities and all that, my God, Daniel was incredibly gifted. Kane, Luke Rockhold, all incredibly gifted. Frank Shamrock was a beast. Kung Lee. He
Josh?
No, Josh was not incredible like those guys.
No,
Josh,
I'm giving it too much
not
love
gifted.
there.
Not gifted. Not like those guys. Those guys were incredibly gifted. Josh just fucking grinder, and like John Fitch grinder. Josh was a champ, but not to the level of what you're talking about, ability. That's the whole different ballgame. There's a lot of champions that have come through the doors, but ability is one thing. Champions another.
Here's a good one. It's from Sid Harath. How does Khabib prepare for his stand-up during the times in your absence?
How does he what?
How does he do his stand-up training when you're not around, like when he's back in Dagestan, basically?
I have no idea. He's over there in Moscow right now with Manap Abukar and Najamine, his cousin, and a few of the other guys training with him and visiting his father after when he's allowed. He's allowed 30 minutes to be where his father's at. He can't see his father per se, but he can be outside.
Let's see. We talked about this earlier. I guess you could just a quick shot on that. Hi, Coach. Now the Fight Island is officially unveiled to be Abu Dhabi. Are you looking forward to cornering your fighters there? Any updates on DC and Khabib? We kind of covered that earlier. But as far as you're looking forward to going to the island and cornering over there?
Not in September. September or July. It's so goddamn hot over there. If it was December, absolutely. It's beautiful over there. Real beautiful. People are great. It's one of the nicest cities I've ever been to. It's just so hot.
This is let's see. The King of Cringe, Cejudo, wants to fight Alexander the Great Volkanovski. Does he have a chance, Coach?
Absolutely, he has a chance. How can you tell me he doesn't have a chance? The guy is a warrior, and he's pound for pound potentially the best ever. So yeah, he definitely does. Definitely does. Would I vote for him to win? Probably not. But doesn't mean he can't. He definitely 100% can win that fight. But I would put him as underdog.
This will be the last one here. Hi, Coach Javier. When did you and your co-host meet? I don't know your name, sir. I'm Len, by the way. Yeah, I haven't introduced myself. I've been like a mysterious ghost in the back cloud here. I think we met, Hav, 2007, maybe?
We did?
Were you? Yeah, I bumped into you. You didn't know it. I met you. You didn't meet me.
Well,
I was down to film Kane for an interview before he was fighting in the UFC. So when did he first come to your gym? What year was that? The other gym?
I have no idea because I don't remember you. I only remember you when you came for Pops' thing.
When I started filming the documentary about
Pops,
your coach. Pops.
Yeah. So when was that?
That was a couple of years ago.
Okay, then that's when I remember you when you came here for that. That was it. So
you did come to a TV show party that I was at, and then we passed each other. You didn't know me.
You.
See, I've stayed anonymous to even Javier within Javier, and half anonymous in the show. But
yeah, I didn't know you.
Well, anyways, guys, I've been working with Hav. I'm trying to get you the greatest information and greatest podcast. On top of that, documentary style footage on the history of AKA.
Greatest, really?
The greatest.
Great.
The
Really?
best.
Are
Yeah,
you
the
kidding?
best. The
How
best.
many subscribers we got? How many subscribers we got?
We're
How long
doing
we
good.
been doing this? Come on.
We need more subscribers. Please make me look
Well,
good
you
to
should be
Coach
telling
Hobb.
people, hey, we need more subscribers so we can try to be amongst the best. Because right now we're not the best nothing. we're working on that. But we need more subscribers to accomplish that goal.
Yeah.
If we can get 100,000 subscribers, then I say, okay, we got a little bit of voice. But right
Get the
now,
100,000 subscriber belt. If we get to 100,000, we'll have a belt.
yeah, we can probably take turns.
Wearing the belt.
You can wear the belt.
Yeah, well,
but
listen.
That's what we need. We need 100,000, and then we can go from there, and then we can promote our own CBD.
Yes, your own CBD. We get some sponsors we'll be bringing up soon. Some of the equipment that the pro fighters use. Didn't bring it in for this episode, but we have people that are sponsoring.
When we get 100,000 subscribers, we'll start promoting our sponsors.
Yeah.
We don't have yet.
All the sponsors, 100,000 sponsors need to subscribe to the podcast and the fans too, if they want to.
Yeah. If they want.
Well, guys, thank you for watching. It's been great catching up with Coach Hobb. He's putting his CBD MD on his arms. He must have worked out too hard.
Ready to go lift weights.
There you go.
Got to put it on. It's a ritual. Without these things, I wouldn't be able to do it.
It helps, right?
Yeah. They're not sponsoring me anymore right now because with the pandemic and everything. But I still use it because it works, and if it works, I'm using it. I don't care. It works.
Take note, sponsors, that Hobb will still use your product even when you're not working with them later.
Yeah, because they work. So
if it works, it works. It's
it
a
works.
quality product. Yeah.
Yeah.